All right, good evening, everyone, and welcome back to the Dunnigan Mott Music and Movie Podcast. At this point, I don't even know which episode we're on 12, 13, maybe 14, somewhere in there. But today, we've got a brand new album review. But before we get into the album itself, with me as always is Mr. Stephen Mott. How you doing, Stephen?
Great, brother Jake, drummer Z.
All righty. Well, Stephen, it was your pick this week, so why don't you introduce the album?
All right, brother Z, the album. I actually got the release date on this one. Released on April 28th of 2015. And at this time, by 2015, I hadn't been into Stevie T. And I don't think his YouTube channel had gotten near as big as it has now, with 2 million subscribers, I believe, or something like that. It's either 1 or 2 million. I think it's two. But anyway, then he was just getting big with his music, and the YouTube channel was just getting started and all. And he said he used to sell pizzas, and I mean he used to be a pizza delivery guy. Just a little side note before he got into YouTube. But anyway, this album is called Album of Epicness, and by Stevie T. And so far, it's his first and only, I should say, only solo album or any album really. He's played on a lot of stuff and has a lot of singles out there, which probably, in my opinion, should have been made into an album. But this is his only official album. But I think this is a complete masterpiece. To give myself away already, and I think Devin's going to think a lot different. Well, not a lot different, but we're just going to have to see. This is going to be a very special edition episode because of it's going to be Labor Day episode. It's going to be 5 hours long. No, I'm just kidding. Um, no, we couldn't talk that long about anything. Probably, actually, yeah, we could. We could probably talk for 10 hours straight about anything. But all right, I guess I'll toss it over to you, um, and then we'll get started, brother Z.
Okay, well, I discovered Stevie T through you actually, and he's a very talented musician, I think, and I watch his YouTube videos pretty regularly. And you're the one, and I've just screwed that word up that I just said regularly. I can't pronounce it, but you know what I mean. I watch his YouTube videos pretty constant, or when they come out, and I mean, he's a funny guy. I think a little bit it's childish humor sometimes, or a little bit juvenile, but still, I think he's a funny guy. And you had played me one song off this album. I'd heard one song off of here prior to listening to this album, maybe two, because there's another one that seems like I've heard it prior to listening to this album. Initially, spoiler alert, I could not get into this album. I listened to it again today. Of course, we're recording September 8th, 2020 on a Tuesday, the day after Labor Day, actually. And some of the songs have grown on me. I took pretty detailed notes, as usual, of course, on the previous episode of The Firm. I didn't, but I did take notes this time. I wasn't actually going to take notes, but then I decided to last minute when I was listening. So I guess I'll toss it back to Steven for him to start with the track by track. So, Steven, what's the first track on this album?
All right, brother, let's get into it. Number one on the album of Epicness, heaviest song ever. And pretty much the only thing I have to say is these lyrics definitely, it's supposed to be a joke, and pretty much like this whole entire album is supposed to be a big joke and everything anyway. But pretty much the lyrics don't belong in a metal song for sure, and that's kind of the whole point of it. But lyrically, it's just a joke. This whole album, yeah, I mean that in a good way, and because the lyrics are pretty good, and that if you take it in the right way. And anyway, and also musically, I think this whole album and especially this song too, is genius in my opinion. And even somebody that somebody like me that doesn't particularly love heavy metal or metal, death metal, any of it really of metal, you know, even somebody like that can listen to this type of stuff because he makes it really listenable, and to simply put it, and it has really goofy lyrics, but you have to understand Stevie T's humor. If you go watch a lot of his videos, you'll understand, the whole thing coming from behind it and everything else. So I think it's a great song. So what about you, brother?
You said this song's listenable. Well, here is my detailed notes, or here are my detailed notes on this song. Starts out awesome. I really enjoy the riff to this particular track. Then it quickly goes downhill. Lyrics are comedic. It's meant to be comedic, but still an ass song. The solo does not fit for me in the song. It's way too melodic and or power metalish for the song. The ending breakdown's actually okay. I do like the riff as I mentioned a few minutes ago or a few seconds ago. This one is an okay song. The small breakdown with the normal music toward the middle of the song is with the kind of normal music. It's amusing. I kind of chuckle at that. The breakdown at the end is okay as well. I just put that previously in the notes, so I'm kind of repeating myself here. If it would have stayed like the opening riff throughout the song, then it would have been a fine song. And that's all I have for heaviest song ever. Actually, heaviest song ever. But overall, it's okay, but kind of eh. So back to you, Steven.
All right, brother, you sound like me reviewing 5150. Literally the same things it sounds like I would say. Like they need to stick with this concept. I mean, the roles just switched in my opinion. But anyway, Emotionless and White, number 2, and there's a guy I know, and Devin, you might know who I'm talking about, but I'll tell you later that this whole album puts me in mind of. He's kind of Stevie T. This whole thing is making fun of emo type people, and I think everybody knows that one dude from school or that group of people that listen to like this type of music with this whole album and act a certain way. You just have to know what I'm talking about, the type, and that's what I think the song is supposed to be called. Emotionless in White. But he changed it to Emotionless and White, which is obviously supposed to have a comedic effect. And I think it's a great song. Some of the lyrics are hard to understand what he's saying, but that's just because I don't even think he knows what he's saying, to tell you the truth. And it doesn't really matter to me. I think that Stevie T is just pretty much a master guitarist and a master also at overlapping guitar parts. Like dual guitar type of stuff. And I'm not really sure dual is the right word, but overlapping is really the right way to describe it. The same part and different, the two that really who a lot of people are known for it, but he's pretty much the master at that. He's the king of that, in my opinion. He does it with a lot of his different stuff, material, and this really shows that he can take something and really make something good out of it because I don't think I've ever heard this song, but I'd be willing to bet that if I wouldn't listen to the original version of that this is a parody of, I probably wouldn't like it. But the Stevie T version I like. It's just a Stevie T effect on something. It has a common sound that he puts to it, and I really like it every time the way it comes out. So I guess to you, Brother Z.
All right, and just to go ahead and get it out of the way, 5150 is a better album than this. No, I'm
Agree
just
to
kidding.
disagree.
Yeah, agree to disagree. Yeah, I think it kind of is. Whatever. I That's a subject for another time. Interesting riff overall for emotionless and white. Interesting riff. Pretty cool opening. I don't mind this one. I think this one's okay. Very heavy song. I really like the chorus. The lyrics are once again very comedic. The riff to the song is very Judas Priest-esque. The verses are as well Judas Priest-esque. I cannot talk. Very modern metal sounding though. Pretty cool song. Guitar solo is really good. Chorus is very melodic. Title is very cool. I like the title, and it's a very Priest title. I could picture Judas Priest doing this in a different arrangement or whatever. That's all I got for this song. Pretty cool song. I can dig it. So Steven, back to you.
All right, brother Z. Track number 3 is and Stevie T talk. A night to forget. I think this is a complete masterpiece. Great music, as I like to say in text. This stuff would go over great live. I wish Stevie T would tour because his stuff would go over really well. The only problem is there's not 5 other Stevie T's. But if he had a really good band and played the stuff like it was on the record and had that same energy to it, this stuff would really go over live if I really think about it. And this one is very pop punk. Well, I'm not going to say very pop punk. It is pop punk. And Stevie T is, in my opinion, the best overall when he's playing pop punk. To quote verbatim my lyrics, and it's pretty self-explanatory. I think he's very great. I think at all the genres he plays, which he plays over a lot of them and incorporates a lot of different guitar styles and techniques in English. Anyway, and I think that he's best when he plays pop punk because I think he can identify with that the best. He plays metal and stuff, and I think he really he likes to think of himself as a metal player and guitarist and gent, if you know what that means. Go watch his videos if you want to know what that means. But there's a lot of gent in this, which is basically very low tune strings and kind of rhythm playing. You just have to listen to it and hear what I mean. But I think this whole thing is a masterpiece. So, to you, brother.
Okay, a night to forget, more like a track to forget. I'd rather hear anything off of 5150 more than this. I'm just kidding. Very melodic punk type song, as you said, a pop punk track. Pretty good song, very melodic, as I just said. Chorus is okay. Another very modern sounding song. I put modern metal sounding song, but a very modern sounding song. Solo is really good, and the na na nas are a little bit annoying throughout the song. That's all I've got for this particular track. A night to forget, more like a track to forget. Nope, I'm just kidding. So back to you, Steve.
All right, brother, that's pretty harsh there, man. I'm telling you, the more this goes on, the more it sounds like me reviewing 5150 from my point of view. We just
Oh,
switched roles
5150
completely.
is a masterpiece.
Agree to disagree. On to the next track, number 4 of 10, Gangsta Gent. And like I said earlier, gent, you just have to know what it is. It's a guitar style. But anyway, a complete masterpiece. For real, though, in my opinion. Only Stevie T could actually make something like this sound halfway decent. I mean, he could make something halfway decent out of this, and like nobody else probably could out of this concept. Combining metal, heavy metal, and rap does not seem like it would work, but Stevie T made it work to my utter surprise. So it worked. That's all I can say for this one. I love it, and Devin probably doesn't love it. So let's take it. Let's let Devin take it to a dark place. Let's, like he said on the other review. So to you, brother.
Okay, well, best track on 5150, Inside's very great song. I love it. Inside is amazing. Couldn't ask for it to be no better. No, I'm just kidding here. I put in my notes the only word missing from this song is Fred Durst. It may be in there and I just didn't hear it. But you're wrong. Fred Durst and Limp Bizkit did rap metal better than he did way before his time. I'm just kidding. I'm just trying to be a troll here. So, Gangster Gent. The opening words are stupid. I hate the friggin' opening little yeah boy. I hate that crap. best thing I love when Sammy Hagar does it on 5150 when he goes, "Hello, baby." That's the best thing about it. But getting back to this song, as he gets into the song, it's very amusing. I can actually dig it. I kind of can listen to this one. It's rap metal, of course. Lyrics are comedic. The solo is good but doesn't fit. And that's one thing I do have a problem with on some of the solos on this album. I think they're a little bit too flashy. And I'll talk about that during my kind of general opinions of the album and stuff like that. A little bit too long, in my opinion. And that's it. That's all I have. Gangster Gent. I can dig it. It's okay. So back to you, Steven.
All right, brother Z, that's interesting. Yeah, you have an opposite opinion of mine on this. But track number 5 Hidge.
OU eight
White.
one two.
Oh yes. All right. White Veil Grooms. Veal, whatever. Stevie T is the only one, in my opinion, that can play as fast as he does and still make it sound like something actual you can actually listen to. Verbatim notes. And in other words, the only one that can play fast, and pretty much people like, I mean, not the only one that can play fast, but you know what I'm saying. I just said it. That's just a mouthful to say play fast and also be able to listen to it and it makes sense. You get the point. But anyway, hope that didn't come through the microphone. Anyway, probably did. But there's some other ones like Steve Vai. In my opinion, Steve Vai is just, he can play fast, but melodically he just doesn't have anything going for him. I just don't know about Steve Vai or any of them like that. They can play fast, but just Stevie T, he's the only one that can play fast to make it sound like anything, in my opinion. But overall, great song. It's all these songs. You're gonna hear that a lot out of me for this one. Overall, I think Stevie T is a great arranger of these songs. I think all of them are arranged perfect, in my opinion, and didn't some of them, like you said, they were drawn out, but I think they should have been. But that's just me. But to you, brother Z.
Okay, Whiteville Grooms. This song reminds me of Dreams by Van Hagar because I would rather be listening to Dreams than this particular track. It's it's trying to make fun of Blackville Brides, of course. A mess. I don't like it. It's just whatever. Modern metal sounding. Solo is actually pretty good on this song, though. I will give it that. Just too flashy here and there at points. And the lyrics are interesting as well. And you're wrong about Steve Vai. So back to you, Steven.
All right, Z. Well, I mean, you could say I'm wrong, but whatever. It's just an opinion. I know you're just joking, but anyway. All right, number 6, I believe. Your average pop star. To me, I keep having to make sure my mic was on. Okay, your average pop star is just my favorite thing off this whole album, which is saying a lot because I really love this whole album. And Stevie T is also a master at adding like keyboard type effects and stuff like that, and overall just adding, guitar effects and different fade out, and I don't, kind of like phase type of stuff. It's hard to describe it. I'll get into that later in some of these other songs and stuff. He incorporates that stuff in perfect times and everything else. So and really overall, I love this song, and it's really a good, it's a pop star. It's really true about pop stars. It makes a lot of sense if you think about it. So that's all I got to say. Great song, and it's true. So what about you, brother?
We agree. Best song on this album. Love it. Sounds like REO Speedwagon crossed with Cheap Trick. Great melodic pop rock track. Great stuff. Solo is really good. Put again, great stuff, but that's repeating myself. Very good song. Lyrics are once again comedic, but yeah, they're pretty true. That I like the lyrics; they're very interesting. Love the bridge on the song, and I think the solo fits very well in this particular track. So Best song on the album, Your Average Pop Star. Really enjoy it. Saved it on my Spotify like songs list so it can play in the shuffle. So back to you, Stephen.
All right, brother. That's interesting. That's one we actually agreed on. So to track number 7, getting to the about the 3/4 area of this album, Penetrate the Sheer. Um, this this one this one is very interesting. I love the way he programmed the drums, verbatim notes, and that's just I mean he can play drums in real life too. He just prefers to program them on there. I think rhythmically he has a very good rhythmic sense to him all around. He could be a drummer or any of it really if he really put some time into it, and he probably actually does. He just don't put it on his YouTube channel. He can probably play anything, to tell you the truth, because if you can program that stuff, you can probably play it, if you know what I'm saying. If you know all that, how to work all that stuff, and I mean really play it in real life. But anyway, I again just great song, and some of these some of these run together, but I really love the style, and I before in his other albums I've kind of really not liked that, the fact that it kind of runs but this one I like the fact that it runs together because I love the style of it. It's just it's not the same thing over and over, but it's sort of the same style over, and because that's just because it's the same person. And I mean, you got to remember, it's not a band. It's Stevie T on all the instruments through the whole thing. I mean, except for one where a woman sings on there. But with the exception of that, you got to remember this is the same person on all the instruments on all the tracks. Keep that in mind. You know, that's very hard to do. And I know because I've tried to do it a lot before, and it's hard to get the timing just right. I'm telling you that right now. So I guess to you, brother Z.
Alrighty. Well, you said these songs run together. Yeah, they run together through a freaking halt. Penetrate the Sheer, the title says it all. Stupid freaking song. Hate it. No, I'm just kidding. I don't hate the song. Oh, I almost said for the first time in the episode, but I did say so that doesn't count. Singing is annoying. I put a actual cuss word in my notes, but I'm not going to say that. What is this crap? I don't know what kind of song this is supposed to be. The guitar solo is actually very good. I do like the reggae part toward the end of it. I think he should have done some reggae stuff, and it's very modern metal sounding as well. So pretty much all I've got. The title says it all. Stupid song. So back to you, Stephen.
All right, brother Z. There we go. Bash it, son. That's what I'm
Oh,
talking about.
yes.
Let's make it interesting. I would yell, but nah, it'll mess up the thing. Anyway, all right. Gent instrumental track number 80, or 8 in English. Complete masterpiece. And this is probably the second. I hate rating stuff, but this is probably the second best on the album. I'm doing that just because I rated the first, so I might as well say a second. In my opinion, this is. I think this is probably written by him, and that's just a guess because he doesn't usually cover instrumentals, but he probably wrote this, and the arrangement is just perfect all together. The times he does through, and all the different things he does with it, the solo changes and all, and that's kind of explanatory for the whole entire album. He's a very very good arranger, knows right when to add certain things in to pick it up, and when it's too much. Didn't add too much in my opinion to this one, and he added a good amount of lead guitar, and that's something I've also not liked in a lot of these other albums that we've reviewed. Is not enough lead guitar. Well, this one had enough lead guitar, and I mean, he could have had a lot more, but that's just because he could have extended out some of the solos. But I mean, just for the sake of the genres he played, pop, punk, and metal, it really fit well with the genres, and that's probably the reason for that. But to you, brother.
Well, to me, the best instrumental ever is called Strung Out from the Van Halen album Balance. If you haven't never heard it, go look that up. That's the best instrumental in the world. This particular instrumental pales in comparison to that complete masterpiece. And I'll send it to you when we get off of here, Stephen. No, I'm just kidding. This, I agree with you once again. This is a complete masterpiece. Great song. Cool riff. I really like the track. Cool stuff I put it after that. I could see Judas Priest doing something like this as well, an instrumental like this. Cool melody and riff. Keyboards are cool, kind of in the background. One of the best on the album. Maybe my actual favorite on the album, to be honest. Love the breakdown on the song with the acoustic guitar. Cool solos, great stuff. I just said maybe my favorite song on the album. Maybe this is kind of an album Stevie T needs to make. Nothing but instrumentals. And I'll get into that a little bit more when we get into the final thoughts on the album. I think maybe he should make an instrumental album. Once again, I put very Judas Priest sounding. Great guitar work throughout. Love the keyboards and stuff like that. That reminds me of Rush quite a bit. Good track overall. And it's kind of a cross in a way between Rush and Judas Priest. I can hang with it. I like this track. So that's all I have for this one. Gentstrumental. Back to you, Stephen.
All right, brother. Very interesting. Number 9, So Sorry. This is a great song and a very simple type track and the arrangement. But Stevie T really took it to the next level with all the guitar work, and really the production on this particular one is really, really what I love too. I love the production on all the album, on this one in particular. And there's not, if you listen to it, there's not a heck of a lot of instruments, but it really has a loud sound to it, and that's why I say the production is really good. Reminds me of some like a simple classic rock type of thing, type of arrangement. Not necessarily the entire song, but just the arrangement. And I really love this one a lot. A woman singer on it. I'm not sure if he just hired some random girl to sing on it. Probably so. There's a website that he's made videos about that he does that with. I suspect that might have been what he did. He just went on this certain website that you can hire singers on and to do your vocal track or whatever, and that might have been what he did. But it turned out really good because they even they layered the vocals, and that really was a masterpiece in that sense also. But and Stevie T is a master class at doing that. He layers vocals on top of each other, and he's a really underrated singer. He's a great singer, and I guess to you now, drummer.
Okay. A different singer this time, a poppy song. She can sing. I think she's a very good singer. I like the track. I think it's a cool, straightforward rock song. Very cool track, and the solo is good. So pretty short and to the point. As with the song, it's pretty short and to the point. So back to you, Stephen. I like it.
All right, Z. That's the second one, probably the only two that we're going to agree on. So to the next and final track, All Alone, and I'm just going to leave it at that. The guitar work is masterful, in my opinion, in this one, and stuff that wasn't really added into the original song. And this parody is a work of complete genius, in my opinion, comedically especially. And like I said before, you really have to know Stevie T's videos and stuff to understand this humor. But it's a complete masterpiece altogether for what it is, and even more, really, in my opinion. But to the master drummer, Devin Dunnigan.
All right, the final track, All Alone. I'm not even going to get into the rest of the title for this acoustic opening to the track. You can tell by the title that it's comedic. It's going to be a comedic song. I think the beginning sounds a bit like REO Speedwagon. I think it has an REO Speedwagon tinge to the beginning. Overall, don't really like it. good acoustic solo after the first chorus and good second acoustic solo. Interesting way to end the album, I think. And musically, I think it's very cool. So that's pretty much all I have. And back to you, Stephen.
All right, brother. So I guess we'll get into the overall reviewage of the album, or rating, I should say. I'll just start off by saying this is going to be a 10 out of 10 and really 11 out of 10. But yeah, I'll just say 11 out of 10. So, frick to 10. So this album is a complete masterpiece. This whole album would be a very good, will sound very good live and go over very well. I really wish Stevie T would tour. The only thing there's not five Stevie T's. There's only one, but that's a problem. We need five anyway. Most of it is just making fun of people lyrically, and musically. But musically, it's just genius, and really the lyrics are genius too, in my opinion too. Stevie T has so many different guitar techniques that he uses in his arsenal, and knows really how to incorporate it. And I think the solos fit perfectly, and the guitar work and everything, the rhythm playing, the programmed drums, all of it. And not to mention his bass and stuff, because he was invited to play bass with some big bands and stuff, but he pretty much just turned it down. Well, he didn't at first. He didn't turn it down, but then he had to turn it down eventually before the first gig he was going to do, because you know it was just, it wasn't that it was too hard for him, obviously, because if you hear his playing, there's nothing going to be too hard for Stevie T to play. It's just they were going to invite him to play bass for for them, and he just didn't want to do the live shows because he just thought it wouldn't work out well, and that just wasn't his personality, pretty much. But I really wish he would tour and stuff. I would definitely want to go to it because it would be epic for sure. But one of my favorite albums of all time, actually. So this one, and I have a characteristic. Typically, I like albums that nobody else likes. That's just a thing. That's just something about me, my character. That's my whole personality. I like stuff that nobody else really likes at all, and it'll be my favorite album. It's like I like stuff that's different, sort of. But what about your rating, brother?
Well, album of epicness, more like album of crappiness. I'm just kidding. So I've got a pretty drawn out final opinion on this album. Going into this album, I really wanted to like it. And I even now think that this album had a lot of potential to be a great album. Overall, I just think it's a bit too all over the place. I think he should have picked a particular type of music or whatever and kind of stuck with it, and just kind of overall just a scattered album. I like a lot of it, but sometimes the guitar throughout is a little bit too flashy, and I think maybe he should switch up and play a little bit more straightforward type solos, a little bit more bluesier solos. Here, where we're going back into the blues now, but overall, I'm going to be generous to this album because I don't hate this album. I'm just kind of bashing it for the effect of the episode. I'm going to give this album a 7.5 out of 10. I think that it has a lot of potential, at least in my opinion. I think, and of course, you said you really enjoy it. You give it a 11 out of 10. I think it has a lot of potential, and I think what Stevie T needs to try to do next is either a sort of an instrumental album, or something with less comedic lyrics and somewhat of a more straightforward theme, and or more of a straightforward album with much more somewhat of a serious, more straightforward lyrical theme. I like the album. I do like the album, but I think it's kind of disjointed. And the thing about it is, I like comedic music. I mean, I'm a huge fan of Frank Zappa, and a lot of his stuff is very, very comedic. Musically, I think it's great all throughout the album. Like I said earlier, I think the guy is he's such a talented musician. I think he's a a brilliant musician. And I mean, if you haven't checked him out, go check him out. I mean, he's a brilliant musician all the way around. So overall, I give this album a 7 out of 10. I like it. Obviously, I don't love it like Steven does. So, Steven, do you have anything else to add to this album?
Well, I mean that goes to show, like I said before, that's the way it's always been for me. Even if you like a certain genre or a certain artist or anything, not you. I'm just saying in general. People like stuff and it's very popular. If you like a certain artist, I'll say, well, this is my favorite album, and then or I'll be thinking it, and they'll say, oh yeah, this album was just the worst I've ever heard, or by them, or the production was terrible, or I hate this about it and I hate that, and it was just terrible, and I'll be thinking, well, that was my favorite one of all. It's just like mine will be the complete opposite. I mean, even the artists themselves will come out and say something like, "Well, that didn't go well in my opinion," or if I could take it back, I would have done things different, or this and that, and it'll be my favorite album by them if they ever did. You know, that's just the way it goes for me. It's whatever. I guess everybody has certain things like that, but for me, it's everything, and it's pretty much all I have to say about this particular one. I freaking love it. And I've always listened to it, I guess, for about since a year or two ago. Ever since I really started watching Stevie T on YouTube, I've always liked his videos too. And I guess you like the videos too, don't you, brother?
Oh yeah, I like his videos. Yeah.
Yeah, I've always thought they were very entertaining. People say that he's corny or trying to be funny too much. That's not even really the main point of the video. The main point of the video is just it's to be goofy and all and lighthearted, but not just that. Also, just it's about guitar. If you don't play guitar, you can't relate to it. Then don't watch it. If you don't like it, click off of it. You don't have to go put him down and stuff. I just don't agree with people saying stupid stuff about him, like stuff like he has a punchable face. Like, what does that even mean? You know, that's just stupid in my opinion. But anyway, I know he's. Some people say he's annoying or whatever, but they're douchebags in my opinion. I don't even know if I'm supposed to say that word on here, but I don't care. Anyway, but overall, I really like it, and honestly, I like everything that Stevie T's ever put out. So go check out his. I wanted to say his solo stuff, not solo stuff. This is all of his stuff is solo, literally, literally solo because he's the only one on all the instruments. And I think the fact that he just that very thing that he did all the instruments, just him takes this album to a whole nother level in my opinion, and all of his music because when I don't think he totally mixes and produces it. I think he does have somebody to do it for him. To do the final mixing and mastering and all that, he has somebody else to do professionally. But he does the original mixing, all the instrumentation. I think he's really a master at that, a master class at all of that. And just to do it on his own is something totally that puts him in a different field than anyone else. But I guess we'll go to you and then close it out, drummer,
All
or
right.
whatever you
Well,
want to do.
all right. Well, do you have any picks of the week, movies or music?
Oh shoot, I did not think about that. I think I'll just have to wing it for this time too. For movie, I'm gonna just be goofy and just say just go watch Friday the 13th or something. Just say part 5 or something. I don't know. Just 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 throw it out there and laugh out loud, texting out loud. Anyway, and go watch Sanford Son. And I know that's pretty random, but just go do it, and you'll like it. And let's see, music wise, go listen to Cream. Um, Go listen to Tobe and Ginger Baker's The Greatest of All Time. Period. That's it. Period. All right, back to you, Devin.
All righty. Well, as
No,
for me,
I'll correct myself. Devin Dunnigan is the greatest, and Ginger's the second best.
well, getting back to what I was fixing to say.
I know that was random.
As for movies, I'm going to go with one that me and you both seen. I'm kind of interested maybe to do a commentary on it more as like I've talked about before, getting more toward Halloween and stuff like that. And this movie I have issues with, but I like it. I think it's pretty good. And that's 2018's Halloween. I went back and watched it here. It's been about a couple of months now. It was before I went to work, so it's been a little while now. And I picked it apart, and I I have some issues with it. But overall, I still think it's it's a pretty solid film. I think it's a pretty solid Halloween film. And I mean, that's my movie pick of the week. And finally, we'll kind of introduce the movie portion of the title into the podcast because since we've been doing podcasts, we really haven't done anything movie related except for news, and then we did the commentary on Halloween H2O. So I'm really interested to introduce the whole commentary thing more into this podcast. And of course, we've got the long lost shell Jason Goes to Hell commentary, but that's actually it's on YouTube in private. Maybe it'll get released one day. But as far as music, and I know I'll probably get some crap for picking this one. Of course, this particular episode will be out about 2 weeks. I'm going to pick an album I've listened to this for quite a bit. In the past couple of weeks, and that is 1988's Van Halen. Don't know if that throat clear came through the mic, but
it did.
It did. But 1988's Van Halen's OU812, the second album with the Van Hagar lineup. I've came around with Van Hagar. I don't hate it like I used to. I used to be one of those who was like, Van Hagar's the devil. Don't listen to him. But now I've came around to it. I can listen to it. I think it's a good album. Mine All Mine, When It's Love, AFU Naturally Wired, Source of Infection, Feel So Good, Finish What You Started. I probably already said that one. What else is on there? Cabo Wabo. Whole album's it's a good album. And just to plug some podcasts, the Decibel Geek podcast, the Revival House Network with Mac and Zach, Save the World, the Behind the Mask podcast, or BTM podcast. They've got all kinds of stuff on their channel. Go look them up on YouTube, Revival House Network, and Mac and Zach Save the World. Diabolus and Podcastica, Vieira Vault, Freeform Rock podcast, and who are the two guys from that show are on the Danger Zone podcast. And just go ahead and break the news. Of course, this will be out probably after this new episode comes out that I'm fixing to talk about. I was invited to be on the Terrence Reardon and Friends podcast, and very, very honored to be invited on that podcast. I don't know when that episode will be out. We're recording this Thursday we're doing an episode on Deep Purple's In Rock from 1970. So I'm definitely looking forward to that. Go check his podcast out. He's on YouTube, Podbean. He's on all that type stuff. And I'm trying to think of some other, just all kinds of great podcasts. We watched a movie YouTube channel, they do a podcast as well. We Hate Movies, Now Playing podcast. Man, I'm the R-rated horror podcast, R-rated horror show podcast, something I can't remember the old title. Movie Graveyard podcast, whole thing, great podcast. Even go check out the now defunct, but Rock and Metal Combat podcast. And just to talk about some upcoming content. Of course, we've talked about doing some commentaries and stuff like that coming up here soon. We're going to have a very special episode coming up here. We're going to record it next Monday. If everything works out right, and we're going to be doing a very special episode with a very, very special guest. So it's going to be the first three-piece episode for this podcast. And yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to that. So look out for that coming very, very soon. Of course, go follow all of our channels, the Dunnigan Mott Music Movie Podcast YouTube channel, which has all of our episodes. I have a playlist on my own personal channel of all the episodes that's been put up on there, as well as the Danger Zone podcast and the Danger Zone reviews are all up on my page, and more content coming for that particular show as well. And I mean, just keep looking out for content. We're trying to keep content coming up pretty regular. I'm fixing to dive back into my reviews here pretty soon. I know I keep saying it on every episode just about here more recently, but that it's coming. It's coming very, very soon. And that's pretty much all I have. Just keep looking out for new content. You got any other words, Steve?
Oh, yes, brothers. I got one more thing to say. I'm looking forward to that episode on Monday. I hope it all works together and works out, because we're going to have Mr. Gerald on there. And, yeah, I'm going to announce it now. Gerald Turner, the greatest guitar player in the world ever to be, ever, on the face of the earth that's ever been. We're going to have him starring on the show. Well, guesting. But he's going to become the star. So... just to put that out there to Devin Dunnigan.
All righty. So, is that all you got, Steve?
Yeah, I guess so. I'm looking forward to that episode, and hope there's not too much cussing involved, which there very well might be.
I don't know. I told him the rules about this show, but whatever.
Hey, let me tell you, if you want to hear a very comical and amusing podcast, come listen to next week's episode, whenever that may be released. Listen to it. It's going to be on Leonard Skinner, One More from the Road. I don't know if I was supposed to say that yet, but I just did. So I don't care what the frick. Okay, so that's about it. I'm looking forward to it, and it's going to be probably a bit more of extensive album review, especially since there's going to be 3 instead of just 2, like the normal setting here, and going to be probably a little extensive because the album we chose is 24 tracks, the version. So we're not going to do track for track all of them, but we're going to go through and do we're going to cover all the stuff, but not necessarily track by track. But you get the point. But I guess that's it, brother. I had a great time with this episode, and glad I got to the end today, brother.
All right. Yeah, we're recording pretty late tonight. And also, of course, by this point, we'll be releasing the episode on The Firm, which was my pick last week. Also, Van Halen Discography Part 2 will be up. I'm looking into doing a brand new Danger Zone podcast coming pretty soon. I've got an interesting theme picked out that I haven't discussed with the other guys yet, but by the point this comes out, maybe we'll have it up and done. But I guess I might as well get into what the next episode will be. So the Leonard Skinner episode won't be next. It'll be coming after. It'll be a special episode. So it'll kind of be one of our equal picks, I guess you could say. So next episode, and Stephen, I want to get your opinion on this. I told you a little while ago that the next episode I was going to pick, I think we will all agree on that it's a pretty good album, and it's going to be one that we actually agree pretty good bit throughout. So, Stephen, next episode will be Eric Clapton, Money and Cigarettes. So what you think about that?
Whoopee. That's some of my texting lingo there. I'll say whoop-de-doo and whoopee and ye the frick call all in one word. And I just love making up words, on texting especially.
Yep.
And experimenting with the emojis or emojis in English. And I just love it, man. It's fun, ain't it? Just to send lives and stuff on there. Anyway, yeah, that's a very good pick there, brother. I like it, and I'm surprised I hadn't picked it yet, to be honest. Because I'll just go ahead and give it away. That I really like that one, and I've listened to it over and over. Well, I've got about half the songs downloaded on my tablet that I've played over and over, and I'm not extremely familiar with the other half, but I do know the songs, and I'm just gonna familiarize myself with them. And this is probably going to wind up being one of the very rare episodes that it turns out to be both of us, at least Devin, somewhat liking it, I'm pretty sure, and probably me liking it a lot. But that's probably giving way too much information, but that's okay because give you more insinuation to go listen to the episode, and that's going to be a great one, brother.
All righty. And yeah, I have quite an interesting backstory getting into that album. But we'll talk about it on the next episode. And let me go see what exact episode we're on, because I believe this is episode 13 or 14, somewhere in there. Do you know exactly, Stephen?
I thought it was 13.
Okay, let me go look really quickly, because I believe you are right, because episode 12 is the firm. Yes, episode 12 is confirmed. So
I had written down at the top of my notes the past couple of times for whatever reason the episode number or what I thought it was, and you confirmed it. So because you keep track of all that stuff more than I do, because you're the poster, and I mean the poster. That's a weird way to say it, but you know what I mean. The person who posts it on there. But anyway, the poster. I like making up words. Once again, it's fun. I like it a lot. Sausage sandwiches. That's that's a Stevie T quote. You just have to watch Stevie T. If you're gonna do a review on Stevie T, you got to add some comedic in there, comedic effect of his in there too. Or at least his style. So sausage sandwiches, pickle sandwiches. Go eat some. I like guitar. And Gerald Turner is the best in the world, best guitar player ever. And Devin Dunnigan is the greatest drummer ever. That's about it. And I suck. Okay, back to you, Devin Dunnigan.
all righty. So next week, episode number 14 will be Eric Clapton's Money and Cigarettes. And this will be actually the first time we dive into a Clapton solo album. We've done Derek the Dominoes, we've done the discography, but this will be the first quote unquote solo album. So hope you enjoy this episode. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the little bell icon in the corner. If you're listening on Anchor when this eventually gets up on there, remember, just follow the page to get all the episodes. We're on Spotify actually through Anchor. And I mean, just share us when you get a chance. Share us. Hope you enjoy these podcasts. We put a lot of effort in. We're trying to keep content up now. I know it went for a little while to where we didn't have a lot of content coming out, but now we're trying to pretty well keep content going. So a lot more to come in the future. So that's all I've got to say. Hope you enjoyed. Go follow us on Anchor, YouTube, all of our YouTube channels. You should know by now. We've said it in every episode. Go check out the older catalog. We've got a bunch of episodes in the back catalog. So hope you enjoyed. God bless you all. Stay healthy, stay free, stay frosty. And as I always say, Stephen, you say it this time. You end the episode.
All right, brother. Yeah. Yeah, we switched roles last time with the intro, and then you did the intro this time. This time. So on this one, let's see if I can even remember it with my stupid self. As Devin the Great, D.D. King says, that's my nickname for him. Devin Dunnigan, King of Drums. I know I'm being really random in this one, but this was a great episode, and As we always say, see you next time.
All righty.